This week marks 1 year since a 14-year-old girl named Emily Pike went missing from a Mesa group home. Her remains were found weeks later along Highway 60 near Globe. Welcome to 12 News at 10. I'm Troy Hayden. So here we are 12 months later. Still no arrests or suspects in this murder. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is in Mesa with how the community is marking this tragic anniversary.
There's a renewed call for justice now 1 year since Emily Pike disappeared. There are still a lot of unanswered questions about what happened to Emily and who's responsible. Family and friends and the community are holding on to hope that they'll find those answers. This red and pink memorial returned to the corner of Mesa Drive and McKellips Road on Sunday.
It's just a hard feeling to be here and to know that, justice still hasn't been served.
It's the last place Emily Pike was seen alive nearly 1 year ago.
Even though it's been a year, we still need to be strong and hopeful that this gets resolved, that somebody comes forth with information, and that this doesn't become a cold case.
Tuesday marks 1 year since Pike disappeared from a Mesa group home. At the time, she was labeled as a missing runaway. Her body was found more than 2 weeks after her disappearance on Valentine's Day in a remote area off the 60 near Globe. But investigators don't believe that's where Pike was killed. Still, no arrests have been made. Is it hard to believe that it's been a year and there's still no answers?
Oh, that's one of the most hardest things. What's common for us as Native Americans is that a lot of these things get swept under the rug. A lot of the information is mishandled.
Pike's murder brought attention to missing and murdered Indigenous people.
Children should come first, and that should be the lesson here, is that this memorial represents a system that had failed this young girl.
Last spring, Governor Katie Hobbs signed a bill into law in Emily's name, establishing the Turquoise Alert. It's used to alert the community of missing endangered people.
That's a good step in the right direction, but we need more.
As each day passes since Pike's murder, this community will continue to say her name with hope justice will prevail.
I do believe we need to keep saying her name until this gets resolved, until we get that closure.
Two $75,000 rewards are being offered to anyone who turns over information that leads to an arrest in this case. In Mesa, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
Faith leaders and community members gathering for a vigil and a protest outside the ICE field office in downtown Phoenix near Central Avenue, remembering 37-year-old Alex Preddy. He's the man who was shot and killed by ICE agents during a federal immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis yesterday. Organizers say they are praying and holding moments of silence, urging an end to ICE crackdowns in major cities.
We are concerned about the direction of our nation coming from the White House, and the ICE actions are taking us back to pre-civil rights days.
Preddy is the second person shot and killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis in just a month. The U.S. Border Patrol is calling yesterday's shooting a preventable tragedy. Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Greg Bovino said immigration enforcement in Minneapolis has not slowed down in the wake of this shooting. When asked whether the officers involved saw Preddy with a weapon despite numerous videos that appear to prove otherwise, Bovino said he would wait for the investigation to finish.
It goes back to the choices that we just talked about. When individuals make poor choices, poor decisions, come into a law enforcement situation, an active law enforcement situation, conspire to come into that situation. Whether that's based on ideology, we don't know. That'll be in the investigation that we just talked about.
He added that the officers involved in that shooting yesterday are back at work in the field, but were transferred to other cities for their safety. Here in Arizona, our Attorney General Chris Mesa is defending herself over comments she made to 12 News about citizens possibly shooting ICE officers. Mays released a video pledging her support for law enforcement today, and she lashed out at critics who claimed her comments put all law enforcement officers in danger.
Despite how right-wing media has characterized recent comments that I made about ICE and the danger its actions pose to public safety, the idea that I would want the life of any member of law enforcement put in danger is wrong, it's offensive, and it is an outright lie.
Mays released the video after news reports that her liaison to Arizona law enforcement, former Phoenix Assistant Police Chief Dave Harvey, resigned on Friday after 3 years on the job. There's no confirmation he resigned over the comments, but some people do suspect that. In an exclusive interview with 12 News last week, the Democratic Attorney General said she was concerned that ICE was creating a, quote, combustible situation if it allowed agents without visible identification and masked to confront Arizona residents. Mays said she was worried the state's stand your ground law could result in residents possibly killing an unidentified agent by mistake if they felt threatened. Law enforcement groups condemned Mays' comments as sanctioning violence against police officers. A motorcyclist is killed after crashing with an SUV in Mesa. It happened near Broadway and Country Club just after 6 o'clock. Nobody else was hurt. We're still working to learn what led up to the crash, but you can see the wreckage there. Police say they've closed off both eastbound and westbound lanes of Broadway as they investigate the crash. A family of 6 working to recover after a huge fire yesterday. It was a condominium fire, left several people hospitalized and burned other families out of their homes. Fire broke out near Dobson and Baseline Roads, and you can see the flames here. 2 adults, their 4 kids, all taken to the hospital with burns. This afternoon, family members of the victims held a news conference outside the Valleywise Burn Center in Phoenix, saying the family's escape is thanks to their 6-year-old daughter.
What happened is nothing short of a miracle. Everybody went to bed as normal. All the kids were tucked in, said goodnight. The little girl that's here right now, she's in stable condition, but she was able to get up and go through and in the room and wake the parents up, even though that room was on fire, and help them get out of bed.
The family says that 2 of the children are in the ICU, including the youngest child, who's only 6 months old, who has severe burns all the way down to her skull. The cause of the fire still under investigation. So we had a little bit of storm activity over the weekend, Chris Dunn. Probably not what we were hoping for, but it's warming up, right?
Yeah, not the widespread rain that we were hoping for, but we did get some pockets of rain around the valley. And of course, the snow in the high country totally cleared out today. We were blessed with sunshine. Just a few high clouds trying to creep in from the west. A cold night tonight, 44 in Phoenix. Upper 30s in some of the outlying areas, the periphery of the valley, down to 20 in Prescott, 11 for Flagstaff, and 5 in Window Rock. Around the valley, 36 in Maricopa, 44 Tempe, but then you get outside of the city like Maricopa, Chandler 38, and Buckeye and Avondale both at 38 degrees. Not quite down to freezing, but certainly a chill in the air. Did you see that football game in Denver earlier with the snow coming down? That's sliding down into Texas. It's snowing in Dallas right now. And a lot of that big storm system is now concentrated along the East Coast with rain to the south and the snow to the north. This is the map of the current snow cover across the country. This is where snow is actually on the ground, basically from the mountains of Arizona all the way up into the northeast. And the winter weather alerts continue. It's going to be another cold day back east, but we are going to start the warm up. Close to 70 tomorrow. It gets warmer from there, maybe even 80 degrees in the 7-day forecast. Troy?
All right, Chris, thank you. So you just showed us that winter storm, and it is massive. It's affecting nearly 200 million people from New Mexico all the way up into Maine. Bitter cold, dangerous ice storms, more than a foot of snow in some areas. 23 states have declared emergencies. So this is Memphis, Tennessee, believe it or not. Well, actually, I'm not sure this is Memphis. This is Cordova, Tennessee. Well, I guess they are getting a little snow there. Travelers stranded here in the valley, too. Hundreds of delays. FlightAware says 321 flights have been delayed at Sky Harbor as of tonight. A total of 197 cancellations. Tomorrow, 46 flights already canceled. So if you were scheduled to fly to Phoenix, even though the storm is getting a bit better, check your flight status before you leave for the airport. ESAs have come under scrutiny in recent months. The 12 News I-team has found some questionable spending in that program. But empowerment scholarship accounts are hugely popular, and they continue to help many families, especially those with special needs children. Craig Harris has been investigating education vouchers, went to the East Valley, where ESAs and basketball are coming together for a Valley teen.
Here at the end of a strip mall in Gilbert is perhaps a unique place to have a school, but PS Academy serves very unique students, including an 8th grade girl, and the story doesn't just begin here. And this is where it all begins, less than a mile away at the YMCA. It's not hard to see that Macy Decker is a bit different. just 13 and a slight 85 pounds, she's one of the smallest kids on the court, yet she's a starter for the PS Academy High School girls and boys teams who practice together at the YMCA. Here's her coach, Patrick Ruppel.
I call her little Kaden Clark. She gets beat up a little bit, but she goes in there. Her first game, she had 17 points and 9 assists. So
17 points against boys?
Against boys, first game.
How'd you do against the girls?
First game, 37 points.
While Macy is different in size, she has a common bond with her teammates. Nearly all of them, like Macy, are autistic. That's what brought her to PS Academy, a private school in Gilbert designed for neurodivergent learners, including kids with autism, ADHD, and anxiety.
It's life-changing for us. Before PS Academy, my child was crying before school. And when they said, you can use ESA funds to help pay, we cried. We cried because without ESA, this would not happen for Macy. She would not be here. So having those ESA funds means that I have a happy kid now.
Macy tells me she loves coming to PS Academy, especially for basketball.
I like being on a team and winning together because it makes me feel included. I like to have friends on the team.
Reporting in the East Valley, I'm Craig Harris, 12 News.